All right, we're back in geometry. Today's date is Friday, January 8th. We are continuing off of where we left off with, and of course my computer wants to be silly. This is where we left off with example 1. Remember that you always end your proof usually with this black square, or you can say quorum et termum, QED, to say I have proven what I set out to do. As the formal way that you end a proof. Go away, go away. Let's go through example number 2. So again, it's going to be a 2-column proof. So let me set up my 2 columns here. So shoink, and I need a little bit more room on the right-hand side because I know my reasons are kind of long. Again, you want your information that you're stating, but you have to have a reason behind every single one. R-E-A-S-O-N, it's his full reason. All right, so we always are going to end the proof with this information. So I might as well just use some technology here, copy, paste. That is going to be our last line in our proof. Therefore, these 2 triangles are congruent. I don't know what the reason is yet, but you might be able to see it. Ooh, it looks like there's a side and angle. So it's not going to be side, side, side. And we're going to start off with our givens. Is there a quiet raised hand that can tell me what is one of the 2 things you're given? Kira?
I think it's given that triangle EAD and BCE are like, the angles are equivalent.
I agree. Yeah, EAD, that angle is congruent. The symbol here, congruent.
So the way you write it is like, I just don't understand, because you have to get the letters in the right order, right?
And when you're writing a congruency statement for triangles, yes, but when you're talking about their angles, all you need to make sure is that the middle letter is the one that you're talking about. So
okay.
I did the second one wrong. The middle angle should be C, so ECB.
Okay.
ECB. So you're basically saying angle A and angle C, angle A and angle C. When you write a congruency statement for a triangle, yes, they definitely need to be correct in the correct order. As long as the middle one is the right one for an angle, you're good. Yeah, Charles.
Line segment CE is congruent to AE.
AE, yep, and that's just by the tick marks here. Tick mark says those 2 line segments are congruent. Nice. And we're at this critical part of the proof where it's like the hardest part. What do? We have the given, we know our conclusion, not necessarily the reason. Again, you're trying to find something that has one of these 4 congruency criterion or congruency theorems: side, 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 which I told you you're not going to use. Side, angle, or angle, side. We need another side or another angle. Where can we find one? 2 things that are congruent to each other. There's no parallel lines this time, so you can't use alternate interior. You cannot use corresponding. Those have to have parallel lines. There's something else. I see one hand with Wyatt. Anyone else see it? And maybe if I zoom back out so you can see all of the different reasons, like we've gotten all the givens, so it's not that one. I told you it's not going to be corresponding. I told you, wait, that's not that one. Corresponding, I saw the word corresponding. Corresponding angles. It's not alternate interior angles. It's one of these other ones. 2 people see it now. 3 people see it. Oh man, this is the power of wait time. More and more people get to think. What's the other one that we're going to be using? Yes, Wyatt.
Could you use the one that line segments are congruent to themselves?
Okay, yeah, which one? Which line segments are congruent to themselves?
Couldn't you do it for line segment DB is congruent to line segment BD?
DB, and you said BE?
No, D to B and then B to D.
Okay, this line segment and this line segment. So, I mean, you definitely can say that. That is a valid thing to say. Line segments are congruent to themselves. The problem with that is that neither of the this line segment is not a part of a triangle. It's both parts of the triangle, which might be helpful if this was a slightly different problem. But in our current state, it's not super helpful for us because it doesn't talk about one specific side of either of the triangles. But it's a good guess. I'm trying to figure out who this dark person in the shadows. I think it's Ulysses. Ulysses, yeah, go for it.
Is it like vertical angles are congruent?
Which vertical angles? Which angle would it be?
Would it be like CED and like AB?
CED and which? Well, you cut out on the second one.
Oh, AEB.
Yes, so those are vertical angles. This angle right here and this angle right here are vertical angles. I agree. There's one tiny problem with that, and it's kind of like the one that I told Wyatt. That's not part of the triangle. You're looking for an angle that's part of the inside of the triangle, and an interior angle of the triangle, like this one or that one. So you're really close, though. You're closer than anyone has been before.
So would it be like the EDA, the inside of that, and then the or like the other
EDA?
side, like where the two triangles meet, like that.
Oh, DEA.
Yeah.
DEA and then CEB, these two?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So let's go ahead and write that down. And that is going to be valid. It is an angle that is on inside of the triangles, and those are congruent by vertical angles. So we'll say that the angle DEA is congruent to or I should say angle CEB, and that's by vertical angles. Vertical, come on, vertical. I just space angles are congruent. If you just say vertical angles, you're close enough, but you have to say vertical angles are congruent, because are vertical angles supplementary? Do you really know the theorem? Okay, so let's check what we have so far. We have an angle, we have a side, and we have an angle. If we put them in the right order now, then we will be done. Is it ASA? Is it AAS? Which one is it? We have the three pieces. We're basically ready to do our therefore, which I should write down here as well, and give a reason. All I need is a reason and I'm done. Two people have an answer. Give it a little bit of time. You got a 50-50 shot of it. Is it angle side angle or is it angle angle side? And why? Really pay attention to that diagram. Charles, what do we got?
I believe it would be angle side angle.
You're
So
correct.
if you
Why?
would start at A or C, you can't jump over the one line because we're using that. So it would be angle side angle.
Yep, so this angle is right next to this side, which is right next to this angle. So angle side angle. You couldn't somehow do angle, skip a whole angle, come back to this angle, and then say side. You can't do angle, angle, side. And similarly, you can't start with this angle, skip an entire angle, and say angle, angle, side. So the things that are right next to each other, angle, side, angle. There it is. And we're done with that proof. So when we're done, little black box in the bottom right-hand corner. That's my favorite way of doing it. If you want to be super cool, you can say QED, quorum et ternum. I don't know Latin. Cool. How are we feeling about example number 2, fist of 5? 3, 4, 5, 5. 3, 4, 3. Okay. 2 people didn't vote, but I'm assuming you're okay because you didn't speak up. Let's try example number 3. Again, 2-column proof. So let's set up those 2 columns. I'm gonna have something like that. I'll give about that much room for my reasons and information. All right, so over here, this is my information and this is my reason. So I can immediately take this thing that I'm trying to prove. This will be my last line because if I've proven it, I'm done. So I come back down here. I don't think I'm gonna need too much room. I'll put it right about there. And I will also say, therefore, that. All right, let's start with our givens. What are we given from this problem? like to try to get some new people in here if possible. I should probably zoom in like this. What are the givens? Yeah, Kira?
I think it's given that line GF and line IH are parallel.
So GF, that line segment is parallel to line segment. Which one did you say? I missed it.
IH.
IH. Perfect. Yep. You can see those little marks right here. Whenever you have arrows, that means that they're parallel. That is information that's given to you. Perfect. What else are we given? This is like the easy way to participate, to get out of the way, guys. What are you given from this problem? I'm gonna hardcore call on someone that I haven't called on before. I'm gonna do it. So that's probably gonna be either like Emma or Ugo or Hazi, or who's this curtain person? This curtain person is Jade. No one? No one? All right, cold calling on Ugo. What do you got?
I don't know. The bottoms are the same.
Yeah, these bottoms are the same. That is congruent to that. How do you say that?
I don't know.
Okay, so you're gonna say line segment FH.
Mhm.
Line segment FH. Is it parallel or congruent?
Congruent.
Congruent to what?
HJ.
To line segment HJ, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, good, you got it. All right, and there's one other thing that's given to us. Thank you, Ugo. I've used the 4s. I've used these tick marks. What's the last piece of information that we haven't used that has been given to us? It's gonna be someone new. I've already called you, right, Esha?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
I don't want to leave you hanging if you have not. Emma, help me out. What's the last piece that's given? It has to do with these 6s.
F and H, or did you already use that?
So Ugo already got FH, this 4 down here.
So then will it be G and I?
So it's actually a line segment. So you want to say G2F, this line segment GF,
Okay.
this line segment GF. And what symbol goes here? Is it the parallel symbol or the congruent symbol?
Parallel.
Not quite. So parallel is using this symbol. Congruent is just the word that means they're the same length or same angle.
Okay, so they're same length, same angle.
Yep, same angle. So they're congruent to what other line segment?
IH.
IH, there it is. Thank you. And you can say line segment IH. I guess we're being super specific. Perfect. That is all the given information. Thank you, Emma, of this problem. Okay, now we're kind of ready for the key part. What do we have so far? We have a side. We have a side. This is not anything. This is just saying things are parallel. That's not an angle. We're missing either another side or another angle. And hopefully in the back of your mind, you're like, we haven't used this information to prove something else. And it seems weird that they would give that to us. Usually in Khan Academy, if they give you information, you're probably going to use it. Not always. But this is a case where you're going to use something along the lines that you're being given parallel lines. There are only 2 theorems that I've talked about in this lesson that deal with parallel lines. There's alternate interior angles, the inside armpits of the Z, or there's corresponding. Just slide an angle over to the right or the left. It's one of those 2, and I'll zoom back out so you can see what those 2 are. Let me star them so you can try to analyze. It's either the corresponding angles or it's alternate interior angles. It's one of those 2. Those are your parallel line theorems. There's quite a few more. I think like Kira mentioned alternate exterior. All right, Ashley, go for it.
I think it's corresponding corresponding angles on parallel lines are congruent because I don't see any alternate interior angles.
Okay. I do, but they're not useful. Like, for example, so I'm saying you're right. Alternate exterior angles, this angle and this angle are alternate exterior angles, but I mean, one is inside of a triangle and the other one is outside of the triangle, which doesn't help. We want angles that are both inside of the triangle. So while there are alternate interior angles, I agree, they're not useful. So I'm gonna go ahead and write down your reason. Corresponding angles are congruent. But what, Asha, are the corresponding angles?
Well, corresponding angles, what exactly does that look like? What's the
It just
picture?
means that it slides over. So if I have an angle on a parallel line right here, no, that's the wrong diagram, right here, then I can slide it down. Or if I have an angle that's on a parallel line, I can just slide it down. It just means that you're attached to a parallel line, you're allowed to slide it to the next parallel line.
Oh, well then I would do angle GFH to angle IHJ.
Beautiful. There's, yep. So let's go ahead and write that down. This is going to be our angle. Let me zoom in so my handwriting looks slightly better. Angle GFH is congruent to angle IHJ. And hopefully everyone can see, yep, that's attached to a parallel line, that's attached to a parallel line, and you just kind of slid it to the right or to the left, depending on which order you did them. Those are corresponding angles, and those angles are therefore congruent. We have side-side angle. Ooh, we have to be careful because if I spell that backwards, angle side-side, we know that is not a valid theorem. So we have to be careful. Maybe these triangles are not congruent. They look like they are. But maybe we can't prove it, because if we said by angle side side right here, nope, that's not a proof. What are we going to say for our final reason right here? What is our last thing that we're going to put right before we put our black box? Yeah, what?
Would it be side angle side SAS?
S. Oop, I can't even write. SAS. Why?
Well, because we know that line segment G of F is congruent to I of H, and we also proved that angle GFH is congruent to IHJ, and then F of line segment F of H is congruent to H of J. Then if you can't skip anything. So you go line, then you go to an angle, then you go or a side, then an angle, then a side.
They're all right next to each other, side angle side. Perfect. There it is. And we have officially proven it. So little black box. Let's switch things up. I'll say quorum et deternum. Be cool like that. QED. That's it, guys. That's our notes. Give me a fist of 5. How well do you know how to do a proof now? Or at least a 2-column proof. 4, 5, 4, 3, 3, 3, 4. I have no idea if Hazy or Jade are there. Looks like no. I'll go ahead and stop the recording.